O Lord, take my lips and speak through them. Take our minds and think through them. Take our hearts and set them on fire with your love. Amen. Amen. We are nearing the end of our Lenten journey. 1 minute we're getting ashes on our foreheads and giving up chocolate or social media or whatever it is we promise we definitely stick to this time. And the next minute we're looking at Holy Week just over the horizon. I don't know how your Lent has been going. Maybe you've kept your Lenten discipline perfectly. Or maybe you forgot what it was somewhere around the second Thursday. It happens. Maybe this season has brought you clarity. Maybe it's given you an opportunity to give back. Or maybe it's just been life with purple vestments. Wherever you are in this journey, take a breath, because the part of the journey we're stepping into soon is the heart of it all. When I was reading this morning's gospel, I immediately thought of 3 words: Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'll explain. In the way many people watch various holiday movies like A Christmas Carol during Christmas, or A Nightmare on Elm Street during Halloween, or some President's Day classic, there must be one, more often than not, I watch Jesus Christ Superstar near Holy Week. It's a habit that started right here in this sanctuary when I was a member of St. Mark's youth group. Yes, I was a child once. There's evidence in Carroll Hall. You want to take a look? I can't remember, though, whether we watched the movie or listened to the album on a turntable. I am old enough to both have vinyl and VHS as part of my youth, so either is possible, but one thing I do remember is how powerful Jesus' story was while hearing it through that medium. In the year 2000, a revival of Jesus Christ Superstar opened on none other than Palm Sunday, April 16th, and ran for a limited time through that September. I think I saw at least 8 performances of that show with a friend of mine. So yes, that moment here in the sanctuary stuck with me. And so we've come to this morning's story in John's Gospel, which is depicted slightly in JCS. Oh, if you've seen it a lot, you're allowed to call it JCS. In the previous chapter of John's Gospel, Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead in Bethany. It's now 6 days before Passover in the home of Mary, Martha, Lazarus, and days before Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, and days before the tension, the betrayal, the denial, and the cross. But here in this little house in Bethany, there is food and laughter and love. Lazarus, once dead, is alive again. Martha is making sure everyone is fed. And Mary? Well, Mary does something so beautiful and so unexpected, it leaves the whole room in awe. She takes a pound of expensive perfume made of pure nard, the good stuff, and she pours it on Jesus' feet. And then she wipes his feet with her hair. Now, of course, in that time and place, foot washing was a common custom, but it was not a glamorous one. Feet were filthy. This was a world of sandals and dusty roads and livestock traffic. Washing feet was a job for the lowliest servant, not for the host, and certainly not for a woman of good standing. And yet Mary gets down on the floor. She takes what might be the most expensive item in the house and uses it for this act of devotion. Not on Jesus' head, not in a ceremonial way, but on his feet, and with her hair she wipes them dry. The room is now filled with the scent of the perfume, a sign of what she has just done. And probably also with the awkward silence of people who don't quite know what to make of what just happened. It's Judas who breaks the silence. Why hasn't this perfume been sold and the money given to the poor? he asks. Now, I don't find myself regularly agreeing with Judas on many things, but perhaps that's a fair question. A pound of nard in those days was the equivalent of a year's wages. That's a lot of loaves of bread, a lot of help for those in need. Why was it wasted? So here's where John and Andrew take different paths in the story. In JCS, Judas appears genuinely concerned for the image and safety of Jesus. But John's gospel tells us that Judas didn't really care about the poor. He was the treasurer for the group and paid himself well for the job. Judas wasn't concerned that Mary wasted the money on Jesus. She kept that money out of his pocket. So Jesus responds, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." These are harsh words from Jesus, it seems, but he is not dismissing the poor. He is not dismissing the needy. He's quoting Deuteronomy, where God says, "Since there will never cease to be some in need and on the earth, I therefore command you, open your hand to the poor and needy in your land." Jesus isn't saying don't worry about them. He's saying this act, this moment, it's not a waste. It's love. It's preparation. It's holy. This is where Lent has been leading us. Not just giving something up, but offering something to God for ourselves, for our communities, even the world. And Mary gets it. She sees what's coming. She knows Jesus is walking toward the cross. And instead of pulling away, she leans in. She pours out love in the most lavish, humbling, heart-forward way she knows how. If we're all honest, many of us may find ourselves more comfortable with being Martha, who served the meal, or even Lazarus, who received the miracle. But Mary invites us into a place of vulnerability, into devotion, into a love that doesn't care what other people think. Even Jesus himself washed the feet of his disciples. In the liturgy for Maundy Thursday, we're invited to follow that example. At St. Mark's, we take a different approach of washing each other's hands instead of feet. We use towels rather than our hair, thank goodness. But it is the act of humility that we practice with one another. In this last stretch of Lent, what are you holding on to that might be poured out as love? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's grace. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's doing something simple that might feel at first awkward or messy. But when we serve in a way that's awkward, messy, humble, beautiful, we become part of something sacred. In just a few days, Jesus will kneel and wash his disciples' feet. And he will say, "For I have set you an example, that also you should do as I have done to you." Mary, as it turns out, set one first. So as Lent draws to a close, don't worry if you didn't stick to your fast. Don't worry if your spiritual journal has more blank pages than filled ones. Just look for your own jar of perfume, your own way to show love, to kneel, to pour out something beautiful. Jesus will also say, "I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Because in the end, love is never wasted. For several weeks, Joan has blessed us with words from Sister Ruth Marlene Fox. May God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to act in love, to bring justice and kindness to all God's people. Mary understood this. There's a lot going on in our country and in our world which affects the lives of many. So wherever you are on your Lenten journey, whether you're like Mary or a senator from New Jersey or one of thousands speaking out for what they believe is right, be foolish enough to believe you can make a difference. Love like Jesus, and maybe the whole house, maybe even the whole world, will be filled with that fragrance. Amen.
Amen. You have put us in charge of all creation, the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea. Oh, what are we?